In the tapestry of artistic expression, certain voices emerge, not only as creators, but as powerful agents of disruption. Protest music in America has been used to empower the voices of marginalized groups, promote social change, and disrupt mainstream narratives. For hundreds of years, Black artists have sung anthems of defiance and resilience that shatter the status quo and force us to face the reality of racial injustice. Black protest music has not merely provided a soundtrack for the struggle against systematic injustice, it has been a profound catalyst for change. Protest music mirrors the cultural context of its time, such is the case with hip-hop music that emerged in the 1980s and 90s, during the continuous war on drugs, a time where legislation, policing, and fear-mongering were weaponized to disproportionately lock up people of color. John Ehrlichman, the domestic policy chief under Nixon, summed it up well in his confession. By getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin and criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities, we could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. And that's just it. The same politicians that vowed to make the streets safer, broke up families, robbed thousands of their freedom, and forced communities to live every day in fear. Amidst a time where Black Americans were villainized on the streets and in the news, hip-hop took the power back and became a forceful medium for highlighting issues like systematic racism, poverty, and especially police brutality, starting with The Message by Grandmaster Flash, the first popular hip-hop song that provided a cultural critique on the struggles of the Black community.
Broken glass everywhere, people pissing on the stage, you know they just don't care. I can't take the smell, can't take the noise, got no money to move out, I guess I got no choice.
Marcelina Morgan points out, early on, one of the things that I immediately noticed about hip-hop lyrics was a social critique and exposing injustice the moment the rhymes start coming. Importantly, hip-hop acknowledged the institutional forces that upheld racism, while also creating a space to share the ways in which these forces affected the everyday lives of Black Americans. With the rise of the Reagan administration and more racially targeted legislation, politically conscious hip-hop continued to dominate throughout the 1980s, with one of the most prominent voices being NWA. Despite law enforcement's attempts to censor the group, NWA continued to shake up the mainstream.
NWA songs are a reflection of social conditions, said the statement. The same stories told on NWA albums can be heard or read in the news.
Other notable songs from this time include Sound of the Police by KRS, Fight the Power by Public Enemy, Trapped by Tupac, and many more. Although hip-hop temporarily faded into the periphery of American politics, it came back stronger than ever during the rise of Black Lives Matter. Kendrick Lamar was born in 1987 and grew up in Compton, California. His musical career gained momentum in 2011 when he was signed to Top Dog Entertainment and subsequently released Section 80, followed by Good Kid, Mad City in 2012, which showcased his unique storytelling abilities and social commentary. A few years later, he released one of his most influential songs that became an anthem for Black activists across the world. It was the summer of 2015. As described by many, it was a heavy moment following the deaths of Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, and many more who died at the hands of the police. There was rage, momentum, and passion as hundreds of Black organizers and activists assembled on Cleveland State University campus for a 3-day conference. During the conference, the organizers erupted into song, singing Kendrick Lamar's All Right. On the same day, all the way on the West Coast, the director of a march in Colorado said, "Music uplifts our community, and so we were playing different songs that have been our struggle anthems to equality, so that Black people can say their lives matter." And so Kendrick's song is something that is a rallying cry. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. In the song, Kendrick expresses the material, emotional, and psychological consequences of being Black in America. Most notably, the song maintains an overall sense of hope in the face of pain and suffering, a message that strongly resonated with Black activists amidst a time where police brutality was on the rise. The song sparked outrage reminiscent of the rise in hip-hop during the 80s and 90s.
I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African Americans than racism in recent years.
But it didn't matter. Kendrick had already pervaded the mainstream. He leveraged his identity as an artist to spread his message, which continues to resonate with fans and activists alike. These artists had an indelible effect, not only in the realm of hip-hop, but the political landscape in America as a whole. They spoke for those who couldn't, and importantly sparked outrage that elucidated an important pattern in American history. Those who upheld the status quo expressed more outrage at black artists than the actual events that inspired their music.
That's what we're trying to say. It's a book that they don't want to open and look into. We're showing life of our surroundings, our everyday thing.
Similarly to the photographers, poets, and writers that came before, hip-hop artists force us to face a reality that many are still blind to, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. As more artists enter the conversation about police brutality and challenge the structural forces that uphold racism, we can only hope that racial injustice continues to enter the collective consciousness. The story of music and black liberation is an ongoing narrative and serves as a testament to the transformative power of artistic expression in the pursuit of justice.